Hello everyone, in this video I'll be showing you a very strong build for League Starter or Subtle Self-Found Hardcore. It's very cheap to make and you can click Chaos pretty much like day one. It's very good. There's multiple items you can use for every slot. You can use a Spirit Sword, very easy, just faster casts, FHR, 2 skills, mana, Magic Absorb. For helmet, right now I'm using a 5 Twister Druid helmet with 35 life, 14 energy, and a fire res from the Route Rune. You can also use a lore out of a 3 Tornado or 3 Twister or whatever. It's very easy to make, very easy to find. You can just farm Nightmare Cows. For armor, right now I'm using Smoke. You can also use Rain if you have enough res for the 2 skills. And extra Grizzly, which does make a big difference, and it's very good to use that later also when you transition into Flame Dash Druid, or if you want to just keep going with Wind Druid, that's also fine. Viper Magi is also good. I have a 10% corruption Viper Magi with the Art Rune for more lightning res. For gloves, I'm using Blood Fist for the life FHR. Using Trank gloves would be best here, but I don't have them. For the FCR, the cold res, and also if you want to transition into Rabies Druid, that would be your best in slot. So it would be a good idea to invest in those. But Blood Fist is easy to find and it's really cheap. For boots, I'm using Nat boots for the resistances. I corrupted a 16 fire res, very good, and Spirit Shield for the OP stats. For belt, I'm using a 24 FHR, 45 life, and some res. You can pretty much use whatever. If you want to use a caster belt, that's also fine, but I really like having more life because this is a hardcore character. For rings, you either want to try to have enough FCR for the 99 breakpoint. Right now, I have 65, so I think the breakpoint's 63 or 65, I don't remember, but I'll be showing you the FHR breakpoint on the screen. So this one has life res, and I'm using Dwarf Star for more life, fire absorb, and magic and elemental damage reduction. It's very good. And for amulet, 3 elemental skill. So for other items that you can use for weapons, you can use Spirit, like I said, Wizard Spike, and also if you find a Vex rune. I actually found one today just leveling for this guide. I found a Vex, I found a Mal, and I found a Low rune. So it's pretty crazy. So you can use auto, it's very strong, you can use it later, like for late game. Another shield, if you don't want to use Spirit because of the high strength cost, you can use Lidless Wall. It's very good. You can get 2 sockets if you corrupt it, or if you upgrade it, you can get 3 sockets, but 2 sockets is more than enough. You can put res, or if you don't need res, you can put mana per kill or MF. It's very good shield. And for boots, you can use Alders, or pretty much any rare boots with res, or you can use MF. It's really up to you. And for ring, you can use just FCR rings. This one's decent, but CNC, lots of mana. Just a res ring, Raven Frost, because your cooldown on your flame dash is gonna be pretty long early game. Because right now I'm level 81 and I still only have 1 point in it, so it's 8 seconds. So Raven Frost is really nice because you're gonna run around a lot, and just a random 10 FCR to elemental skill, amulet. And for charms, I have 2 elemental skillers, and the rest are all resistances and life charms. Early ladder, elemental skillers are not that expensive, but we'll see this season because Flame Dash Druid was really popular during like middle of the season, so we'll see how it goes. And when you are ready to go full Hurricane Wind Druid, you want to max out Hurricane, and then Twister, followed by Tornado, and then Cyclone armor. So that way you get the most damage, and because you're gonna use Hurricane and Twister as your main skills, and then Tornado for bosses and stuff. And then Cyclone Armor for more defense. You can put more points into Cyclone Armor before maxing your second synergy. You can put more points in Cyclone Armor before maxing your Tornado, but I prefer just to get more damage because you're already tanky with your Oak Sage, your Grizzly, and your max res. So that's it for the elemental tree. Put 1 point into Summon Grizzly, 1 point in Oak Sage. Obviously Art of Wolverine, but you're gonna use all 3. And if you want, this is optional, but you can put 1 point in Carrion Vine and 1 in Solar Creeper. I really like those to get more mana and life regen. It's very good, and they don't die very often, only when you TP on top of like a huge group of monsters or in maps, because there's a lot of monsters all around the place. And you put 0 points into shapeshifting because you cannot cast your Twister or tornadoes while in bear or wolf form. And after that, you max all your synergies and you got your summons. The rest of your points are going to be in Flame Dash to reduce the cooldown by 0.4 second per point. It's gonna be very good later. Right now I'm level 81 and I only have 1 point in it. You could have 3 by that point, if 4 if you skip those vines, but it's up to you if you want a smaller cooldown on Flame Dash or if you want the vines. So for leveling, I will go Fire Druid. You put around 10 points into Firestorm, 1 point in Boulder for now, 1 point in Flame Dash. That's optional, but it's very nice for teleporting over walls, especially in like Act 3 when you're farming the organ and stuff like that. Fisher is gonna be your main ability for normal, so you want to put around 15 points. You don't need to put more than that. The damage is gonna be enough with the synergies and stuff. And when you're gonna be level 30 or like 35, it's up to you. You want to point in Grizzly, summon Grizzly, so you have to put the requirements. The Grizzly is gonna help you tank pretty much Nightmare and Hell alongside with your Oak Sage, so you want also 1 point in Oak Sage. You don't really need the other summons for now. In the late game, you can use a Carrion Vine and Solar Creeper for mana and health regen, and they can also tank like a couple hits. It's really nice. The Spirit of Barbs is really bad. It reflects damage, but it's really bad. Art of Wolverine is pretty good to spawn also. It gives more damage to your Grizzly, your Mercenary, and if you're playing in a group, it's gonna give damage and attack rating to your party. So all around very good. And then what you want to do is max Volcano. Once you get level 30, well, not necessarily 30, but around 30, you want 1 point in Armageddon for the physical and fire damage. But then you want to max Volcano, because when you get to Act 4 Nightmare, that's where you start seeing fire immunes, and Volcano is going to be your main skill for that, because you're just going to spam volcanoes on top of monsters, and the mixed damage of fire and physical is going to kill them. So you max Volcano, and after you maxed it, you want to max Molten Boulder, because it gives physical damage synergy to Volcano. And you can also use Molten Boulder if you want, but Volcano's better. And that's pretty much it for Fire Druid. You can also obviously respec earlier in Act 4 Nightmare into Wind Druid. It's also very good. Personally, I would do that, but if you want to stay fire, it's perfectly fine if you use Volcano for fire immunes. And for stats, you want to go enough strength for your gear. A lot of the time, Wind Druid or Fire Druid, you're gonna use a Monarch, so you need 156 strength to wear that. Dexterity, if you plan to use a Hotto, you need 35 to use a Flail, or 75 if you want to use Wizard Spike, which is really good early to get that res, FCR, and all that stuff. And the rest of your points are going to be in vitality. For leveling, if you know you're going to respec, you can put like 20 points into energy to get the regen and the extra mana. It's not a bad idea at all, but I wouldn't put more than like 20. So now I'll be showing you guys a couple chaos runs. The first one's going to be on the cheaper side using spirit and smoke. And the second one's going to be with rain and huddle. I was using rain because I had max res with my charms and my boots and stuff. But I would only use rain if you have enough res, because chaos, or like if you're gonna do maps, it's pretty dangerous if you're not max res, especially on hardcore. And on this one I'm using tornado. Tornado's pretty awkward, but it deals a lot of damage, so it's mostly used for single target, but I wanted to try a run just using this instead of Twister, and it went pretty well. I had to skip the Venom Lord at the bottom because he was physical immune. Like, it's not worth trying to kill him with just your Cyclone. And for your mercenary, you can use Act 2 or Act 5. Act 5 with the Lawbringer would be really good, or if you want to use Silence, it's also very good for the cleansing. And like, he's gonna do a lot of damage with Sanctuary and just the weapon itself. Or you can use Act 2 with Insight or Obedience. Right now he's using Obedience because I don't really need the mana regen. I can just sustain with my mana pots and just killing stuff because it's not very costly mana wise. And also I have my vines that helping me for regen of mana and health. So I don't really need Insight at all. Obedient gives him more damage, more fire damage to help clearing like physical immunes or cold immunes. All around very strong, and I have prayer aura on him. You can use offensive if you want, but I really like having the sustain from the combat merc. A Lawbringer merc on Act 5 would probably be best, just so you could break the physical immunities. And also the Act 5 merc gives you Might Aura that can help your Grizzly and your merc. And if you have 2 Grizzlies, it's even better. And considering this is like the more budget version, the clear speed is pretty good. And you can kill Diablo really quickly too. And that's his second run where I'm using rain armor so I can have 2 grizzlies. Even though I don't have that many plus skills, my grizzlies still do good damage and they're pretty tanky. It's gonna help you a lot. Chaos is pretty easy once you have max res, but once you get in map, there's so many mobs just all around you that the extra grizzly really helps. and you get more sustain from rain because you get either 100 to 150 mana, and I think lightning res or cold res. I think it's lightning, and obviously the 2 skills. Once you get around level 82, you're gonna have enough points in all your synergies and all your skills you need, so you can start putting points in Flame Dash, which is gonna help you a lot with your mobility, because right now I'm level 81 I believe, and I can only have 1 point in Flame Dash, but all my other levels, my next levels, are going to be on Flame Dash, which reduce the cooldown by 0.4 seconds on every point. And you need to put like art points in them. Just having plus skills from your gear doesn't do anything, it just ups the damage. If you want to see a specific build or a different kind of video, just let me know in the comments. I also stream on Twitch, the link's gonna be in the description. And also in the description is going to be the pod skill planner and a bunch of very useful links for like the breakpoint charts and all that stuff. So thank you for watching, and see you in the next video.